Welcome back to Working Brothers. I wanted to give my 2 cents on like a beginner's guide to bench vices. I've done a lot of research over the last few weeks, probably 4 or 5 hours worth, looking for what bench vise I wanted to get, because this Irwin 4.5 inch vise was just not quite cutting it anymore. I had a lot of projects I was working on where the jaws just wouldn't open up wide enough for me to clamp in my workpiece. I have 3 different bench vices here. All 3 of them are cast iron. All 3 of them are rated at 30,000 PSI. This one might not be, but I know these 2 are. That's kind of the standard typical pressure rating that I've seen for these most cast iron vices. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about this one. This is just a good carry with you, go anywhere vise for sharpening chainsaws, building, I'm going to avoid the G word here, boomsticks. I've used it for that, and it's just kind of a good craft vise is probably what I would put it under. But these 2 I would consider DIY shop vices. So again, this is the Irwin 4.5 inch bench vise. You can pick it up at Lowe's for $29.99. And this is the Central Forge, I'm pretty sure that's what Harbor Freight calls it, but it's the Harbor Freight 6-inch bench vise. So far, I've really had it for a very short time, but it works just fine. I kind of abused it the first night. I did more to it than I ever would plan on doing to it regularly to make sure that there was no quality control issues and I just got a bad vise. And so I made sure that it was in good shape, and it seems to hold up just fine. So I'm only going to use it what it was intended for. One of the things that was frustrating to me was that I saw a bunch of people who were reviewing this Harbor Freight bench vise giving it 1 and 2 star reviews because they broke the jaws on it. I know that a lot of people's mindsets about vices aren't the information that I'm providing from everything I gathered, but a cast iron bench vise is kind of a general utility vise for general tasks. It is not meant to have pieces of steel put in it, folded over it. It's not a hydraulic press. You're not pressing in bearings like I saw one guy said he was doing when he broke it and he gave it a 1 star review. That's not what these cast iron vices are made for. To me, there are 3 major materials that bench vices are made from, and one kind of sub material. There's cast iron, which all 3 of these are. That's your basic run-of-the-mill big box store, what they have in stock bench vices. Then second would be cast steel. These are cast iron. There's cast steel, which are about 60,000 PSI was what I kind of saw on average for those. And then there's the ductile cast iron, which I saw them being rated at 65,000 PSI. So just about the same as the cast steel ones. And then 1 step above that, and I might be missing something, but this is what I gathered, is the forged steel bench vices. Those are the bench vices that you could probably get away with pressing bearings in. You can put cheater bars on the clamping tool here. You can take a sledgehammer to it and they're not going to break. Most of those I found have lifetime warranties. Most of these cast iron bench vices don't carry lifetime warranties. So just be sure of that you know what you're buying when you're getting it. If you're buying a cast iron bench vise, you're not purchasing something to just hammer on. It's kind of a third hand, kind of to, do general tasks that, people might need to do. I use mine to hold steel to weld on all the time because I don't actually have a welding table in here. I'm very limited on space. I don't know when I'm going to be able to stick one of those in here, so I often weld on my bench vices. I painted on this. It's kind of a third hand, keep stuff off the floor, off the wooden table, things like that. And I'm not saying that that's all you can do with them. You can actually use these things and be a little bit ornery to them. But they're not made to press bearings, like I said, to be a brake for bending steel and stuff like that. That's just not what they're made for, and you're going to break them. And then you're going to get mad and go give them a 1-star review, skewing the results that other people have had. For guys like me that are searching this out, I went and read through all the 1- and 2-star reviews. Some of them might have been quality control issues, and it kind of seemed like they were older reviews, where the newer ones were more positive. But a lot of those guys definitely were abusing this cast iron vise. This is a beginner's guide to bench vices. You're going to go out and purchase your first, maybe your second one. So from what I can tell, I paid $48 for this. I paid $29 for this. I can do way more with the 6-inch vise than I can with this 4.5-inch vise. And I only paid $18 more for this 6-inch vise. Now, I'm not too sure about the quality and durability of it yet, because again, I've had it for a short time, but I did, abuse it a little bit lightly to make sure that it would handle what I was doing. Now, should you stop at just getting a cast iron vise? I don't know, depends on what you want to do. For me, I really plan to get a 6-inch forged steel bench vise. They're just extremely expensive, and I don't have that kind of budget right now. So for now, the 6-inch is going to do fine. But again, I would eventually like to get a much better bench vise that I can pass down to one of my kids. They can probably pass down to one of their kids, so on and so forth. They should last forever. That's pretty much everything I wanted to cover on these. Don't abuse them. It's cast iron. They're not meant to be hydraulic presses, so on and so forth. I've already said it. Use them what they're intended for, and they'll serve you just fine. Let me know down in the comments below what your first bench vise was and what material it was made out of, just because I'm curious, as well as what your preferred bench vise brand is, or a favorite bench vise that you have, just so I know for future reference, because again, I would like to upgrade someday. So thanks for watching Working Brothers. Hope you enjoyed the guide, the beginner's guide to bench vices, and hopefully there is some useful information here. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for more Working Brothers content like this, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.